When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Hi, I'm John Malice, and welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor on this Thursday morning here at Ventura TV. Today, it's your community. We're going to be talking to the CEO of the Fresno County Farm Bureau. And as a matter of fact, my friends, in case you haven't noticed, he has his own television show on PBS, our direct competition. No, just kidding. 436 MeTV option 11. Turn down the sound and don't wade through the message. We're back in just a moment. And welcome back to the program here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. Just a reminder, I have a special show coming up tomorrow on the 50th anniversary of the assassination of JFK. As a matter of fact, it's kind of remarkable because tomorrow morning at 10:30, when this program goes on the air, it'll be exactly 50 years, almost to the minute, that JFK was shot. And actually, when we go off the air tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning, it'll be 50 years almost to the minute that JFK died at Parkland Hospital. And of course, a couple of days later, Lee Harvey Oswald, the accused assassin, was assassinated, killed himself, shot himself on live television on Sunday morning, of course, in Dallas as he was being transferred from one jail to another. Millions saw it across the country on live TV. It was just simply amazing. Dennis Hart will be here tomorrow to run down all the events. You know, there's too much to talk about. We can't do it all in a half hour, but we'll run down, of course, some of the key points that we possibly can in tomorrow's program. In the meantime, today, it's your community. We're talking to the man who runs the Fresno County Farm Bureau. He's been doing that the past 7 years. He is only 33 years old, which means he took the reins at the tender age of 26 years old. And guess what? That's not his only responsibility right now. That's right. The CEO of the Fresno County Farm Bureau now has his own show, his own television show on the PBS station, of course, Valley PBS, Channel 18. A lot of us still watch that. It's a very good channel. In fact, the CEO is going to be with us here in a couple of weeks. But anyway, the name of this program, hosted by Ryan Jacobson, is called Valley's Gold. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Valley's Gold. Well, we're going to take a look at the economic engine that drives this region, agriculture. My name is Ryan Jacobson, and I'll be your host. These were some of the natural Thompsons I took from actually my place. And this is the same exact vine, same exact type of fruit here, the same variety. And of course, we have a major difference going on here. Kind of a size difference, color difference, a little bit of everything, so it's hard to believe it's the exact same grape. Why don't you talk about what you guys do to make that difference? Right. I've actually pulled to the side Jenny Egger, who is from Queensland, Australia, that's right, visiting the Central Valley here. And so first off, welcome. Thank you. And so what do you think so far of the Central Valley?
Oh, I can't believe you produce so much fruit here.
All right, there he is live in the studio now. He is Ryan Jacobson. He is the CEO of the Fresno County Farm Bureau and the host of Valley's Gold. It airs each and every Wednesday night, of course, on PBS Channel 18. We'll get all the times and the rundowns. I think it runs 3 times a week at reruns, of course. We're going to talk to him. Your phone calls are important, too. We're going to talk farming issues and what's important here in the Central Valley. 436 MeTV, option 11. Don't wade through the message, and also turn down the sound. Remember that, very important if you call in. Back in just a moment.
1 Adam 12. 12. One Adam 12.
This is Adam 12. It stars Martin Milner as Officer Pete Malloy, Kent McCord as Officer Jim Reed.
One Adam 12, roger.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
We're back here live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. A reminder again, the JFK special here on Connect with Me tomorrow morning at 10:30. In the meantime, our guest here today is Ryan Jacobson, the CEO of the Fresno County Farm Bureau. Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Sean. Good to see you again.
Hey, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So tell us about your new show.
Well, my new show, Valley's Gold. It's a partnership between the Fresno County Farm Bureau and Valley PBS, and it's a show that's really to take a look at how our food's produced. We have all this going on in our backyard. Fresno County sits right in the middle of the most primous ag region to be found in the world, and this show is there to examine that.
How did this show come about? Who approached who?
It was actually Paula Castillo, the CEO of Valley PBS, went through our leadership program through the Fresno County Farm Bureau and just learned so many stories and knew there was a story to be told, and approached Fresno County Farm Bureau to be a part of that.
Oh, really? How long ago was this?
This was actually only 3 to 4 months ago. So
really?
Yeah,
and
from
boom,
that time,
it happened that quick.
Yes, it boomed. It happened that quick. And we our first season was it's 13 episodes, and we're currently in the middle of that.
Okay, what times?
We are
days?
on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m.,
Okay.
Saturdays at 6:30 p.m., and Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m.
All right. So if you miss one, you'll have a chance to watch it again during the week, and
there is no
DVR it.
I would say DVR, and there is no excuse because all those past episodes end up on the website too. So you can
On PBS website?
It's actually it's on the PBS website, but it has its own website, Valley's Gold, Valleys with a plural, so with the S, valleysgold.org.
We got somebody from your office calling. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Good morning. You're on with Ryan Jacobson. Your question, quickly, please.
Yeah, I just want to know what he thinks. I mean, when I grew up, I mean, there were still the 100-acre farms still around, or is that just going the way of these big places like Gowan and, you know, I'm just asking.
Well, good question. That there is, I hear that question a lot. It's the concern about the larger farms. I mean, there's no doubt that farms are larger than they used to be on average.
And are they putting the smaller guys out of business?
Actually, I would not say it's the competition putting it out. I mean, as I'm sure you're very familiar with, it's government regulation.
Yeah.
It is folks that, I mean, the smaller farm, as far as the economic viability and the ability to be able to compete because of those regulations, make it very difficult.
So the regulations are what is really are what is putting these guys out of business to a certain extent. And how much do the regulations hamper the small farmer?
Oh, significantly.
Because financially, it's a burden.
Yes, yeah, financially, and just the costs that are associated with it. And again,
give us an example of one regulation would be that, say, a small farmer could not afford.
The new food safety regulations that are coming up are scary.
Like
food
what?
safety. There are specifically ones. Let's take the leafy greens specifically, were some of the proposals that are coming out from the federal government.
What are the guidelines going to be?
It's incredibly complicated. Obviously, as you can imagine, thousands of pages, and there's still the implementation phase. There's what Congress passed, and then there's the implementation.
Is it like Obamacare, basically?
One could actually argue it could be even more complex than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And again,
a farmer has to follow these regulations that come in. How long did you say it was? How many thousands of pages?
Thousands. Yeah.
All right. So you have to follow that to a T.
It is obviously there's the forms, and then there's the next step of it. But yes, there are. It's going to be summarized
as a farmer,
for an individual.
You can't deviate from what this says, or
That's
you'll
correct.
be in trouble.
That's correct. Absolutely. And food safety, by the way, John, food safety is absolutely critical. It's what makes California special when it comes to our produce, because we do have the highest food safety.
It's the lifeblood of our state.
That's correct. But I mean,
right?
We're getting to a point where it's absolutely beyond comprehension where we're going as far as some of these regulations.
Because why?
It's just we have individuals.
You're saying they're unnecessary, or?
I'm saying that there typically is between organizations and farmers and ranchers have one way of getting somewhere. The government has another way of getting there. We typically end up maybe at the same endpoint, but there's much different directions you can take to get there. And unfortunately, the government likes to take more of the difficult routes.
Is our food relatively safe? would you say?
I would say our food is very safe. Obviously, there are obviously going to be incidences because we are, in this region, in California, in the United States, we're feeding a significant portion of the world. Are you going to have instances where there's troubles? Absolutely. Are there weaknesses that obviously the industry and government's trying to clean up? Absolutely. But again, it's that safe zone, trying to find the right balance and not going too far to where you're critically hurting farms.
Right. Okay. What are some of these safety concerns in farming right now to try to keep that food safe?
Well, it just
E. coli would be one,
or it would be any. When you look at, it depends on what segment of the food industry you're looking at. I mean, it can be everything
meat
from
and
E. coli.
poultry, let's say.
Yeah, meat and poultry, obviously, E. coli, salmonella. There's so many other foodborne type of diseases like that. So a lot of that, and what we take for granted so often at a time is it doesn't matter how good you go through the whole growing process, the processing side of it. Then you have to deal with the whole consumer side of it. So that's the grocery stores, the grocery carts. Mom and dad taking it home, making sure it's properly refrigerated, it's kept at the right temperature. So a lot of those concerns down the track that obviously the grower and the processor is ultimately responsible for, but there's other concerns where that could be exposed to contamination.
Biggest concern for farmers that maybe grow peaches or lemons or grapes or whatever, or maybe even leafy greens. What's the concern there?
Again, it's bacterial, it's viral, it's or it can be whether it's insects, on and on and on. There's obviously concerns that making sure that food is 100% safe for and again, we're doing this in the natural environment. We're doing this not in a lab, so there's going to be exposures, and it's trying to minimize that exposure to make sure that and then the flip side of it is that I think we can't go on without talking about that. Folks that don't grow up on the farms like they used to, folks don't have some of the immunity issues that or the immunity that you used to have, and so folks may get sicker from
what my parents used to complain about, because they both my dad grew up on a farm. He was a rancher, and he complained that there are too many pesticides being used in this day and age, because when he was growing up there were no pesticides. And do you think the pesticides issue is still kind of at the forefront?
I would say no. I mean, what's happened, I would say the last decade or so is obviously we've seen a huge increase in the amount of targeted pesticides, very specific, very soft.
So we're not overdoing it, do you think?
I would say that technology has done wonders the past 10 years, and we continue to get better and better at what we're doing. Obviously, there was a time, particularly when you look at during World War II, after World War II, pesticides obviously were just a major breakthrough in what was being done, but it was overdone at that time. There's no doubt that was overdone. And so as science has continued,
we've backed off since then.
We've backed off, and we found more targeted types of pesticides to use on these operations that, again, break down, don't have the human or environmental impacts that they used to.
And what's the best way to deal with some of the pesticides issue if you are concerned about it? Of course, there's organic. If you don't buy organic, you can wash your fruits and vegetables for how long underwater?
Actually, I would suggest no matter what you have, organic, there's a misconception organic has no pesticides. That's false. Organic does have pesticides.
It does?
Yes.
Why do they call it organic then?
It's a certain type of pesticide that can be used versus other types of pesticides.
See, I was under that misconception too. So it doesn't mean no pesticides.
Yeah. So
it's a different kind.
That's a different kind, and it has to be elemental in nature and those type of things. So I'm telling you, for no matter what you're buying, fresh fruits and vegetables, first off, wash them.
Organic, not organic.
Yes,
and how long
exactly.
do you wash them? What's your recommendation?
There's really not a time limit. Just making sure that you properly make sure they're exposed to clean, fresh water, and they get what most people would consider to be thoroughly washed. Yeah. I think it's important that folks understand that so much of what we're talking about can be assisted by making sure things are properly washed.
Okay, we got to go to break. Hey, one quick thing before we go to break, because I had this argument or disagreement with my kids. If you peel off the skin of the apple, are you peeling away the good part of the apple because the skin holds the vitamins?
It holds additional vitamins. I would obviously, my personal opinion is that's the best tasting part. I love the skin, but yeah, you are taking away some of the.
You're taking away some of the vitamins. Yeah. All right. Okay, I'm glad. I won that one. Anyway, we're talking with Ryan Jacobson, the CEO of the Fresno County Farm Bureau. We're talking farm issues, vegetables, fruits. This is the heart of America right here, no question about it. Hey, we have a phone call. Let's take it before we actually go to break. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question, please.
Hi. Maybe you can answer a question for me. Something that I've heard is pulling over on the side of the road to pick something off the vine or a piece of fruit. Is that considered like
illegal?
shoplifting or thievery?
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's obviously a farmer's individual property. That's how they make their income. That's how they make their living.
My parents used to do that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Back in the 60s, you know.
And,
totally fine
and the
back
greatest
then.
thing is, I mean, when you grow up in a rural community, you see the farmer and you ask him, almost every single one's going to say yes.
Right.
It's just obviously when you're, you get 500 people coming by your ranch and doing that, there's obviously an impact. So.
Right. Right? Yeah, I remember that as a kid. Very commonplace to do that. Funny. Anyway, we're talking with Ryan Jacobson. We're going to take a break here on Connect with Me and come back with your phone calls, 436-MeTV, option 11.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Oh, this should have been Ask the Expert Day, I got to tell you, because we do have a farming expert here in the house. He is Ryan Jacobson, the CEO of the Fresno County Farm Bureau. So good question by one of our crew here. You know, he said, okay, if they use pesticides on obviously organic fruits and vegetables, why do they charge so much more for the non-organic?
Well, obviously, it's a limited market as far as it's supply and demand. So some of that plays into this whole market, as well as, I mean, it's important to talk about is that there are, when I say they use pesticides, they're limited to certain types of pesticides, and so there are typically that you are giving up some of the ability to produce on some of that produce there. So you are having some losses. So you have to make up some of those losses versus charging more for
What does organic mean? What's the meaning of it?
As far as the technical USDA definition, I don't have in front of me, but there is a technical USDA definition as far as what meets USDA organic standards there. But I mean, what it really does mean is it's that the pesticides that are being used are of elemental of nature. There's something that's either found in nature, it's a product that became made from nature, type of deal there. But I think it's important to talk about. I mean, there's a niche for everybody in this market. I mean, I think a great majority of people still see the United States as having an affordable food supply, and people here spend on average 9.5% of their income versus other countries being anywhere between 30 and 45%. So,
wow, that's cheap. Yeah. Okay. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question.
Question for your guest is, what's with the bees and the bats? We're seeing them disappear in alarming numbers. Is this something that he feels might be related to pesticide usage, other issues, etc.? Okay, that's one question. And then while I've got you on the line, I got a second question for you. Brussels sprouts and figs, not too popular. Why do we still see them in the marketplace if nobody's buying them? Is anybody eating these items? And why are we taking a valuable agricultural land to produce these products that maybe have a marginal market someplace? Those two questions for your guest. Thank you.
Okay, first, the bees and the bats
disappearing. Why I will tell you first off, I don't know.
And are they disappearing? Really? I mean, I don't. Is that a fact?
Well, bats, I don't know about. Unfortunately, I'm not a bat expert. I am a very good understanding of bees, just because bees are incredibly important to the American food supply, because bees pollinate somewhere between 1/3 and 40% of what we eat. So bees are incredibly important. One thing, when you talk about almonds in the Central Valley, approximately 80% of the world's supply of almonds are grown in California, and during that bloom period, 80% of the country's bees are here in California helping pollinate those. There has been some concerns as far as colony collapse disease over the past 5 years. They have seen some
Anything
beehives
to do
that
with pesticides or no?
They don't know. Colony collapse right now, it's attributed to multiple factors, and they're not positive what's exactly leading to it. There are in some areas,
but it is happening. It's a fact.
Bee shrinkage has definitely been a factor.
And I didn't know, are bats critical to our agriculture?
Bats, I mean, they're insect eaters, and they'll eat bad insects and everything else. So I don't know enough about the ecosystem of bats. I don't know enough about, but bees absolutely critical to what we do.
All right, and he mentioned Brussels sprouts too. That
Brussels sprouts and figs. Now I will tell you, figs is a crop that has majorly disappeared from the valley over the past probably 50 years. But one thing that's fun is that there's actually been a renaissance in the fig industry.
Well, wasn't that all fig trees at one time up by Herndon Avenue?
Yep. Yes,
well,
sir.
Obviously they're no longer there because...
And Fig Garden was obviously
Fig Garden, figs. That's why they're disappearing, I guess.
Actually, Valley's Gold episode, I believe it's episode 5, was actually on figs. And there's a renaissance going on. Fresh figs are now one of the very popular things for chefs to use.
Wow. Amazing. All right. Another call here. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me.
How as a consumer can we tell if we're buying California fresh? I want to spend our money here in the state, help our own farmers.
First off, I so much appreciate you saying that because consumers need to look. Obviously, right now, country of origin labeling is in place, so fresh fruits and vegetables, you're able to tell at least what country it comes from. So number one, the first and foremost thing you can do is look for U.S. grown produce.
U.S. grown. What's the second?
Second is look for California produce. And sometimes
if you have to buy out of the country, what kind? Mexico?
You know what? You know one thing, John, that I think's changed since your childhood, even in the last decade, is the seasonality of fruit has gone. Okay. Remember, you used to only get table grapes during the summer months. You can go into Save Mart, Vons, wherever now, and you're able to get grocery, specifically, you're able to get table grapes 12 months out of the year. I almost, to a certain extent, wish that we went back to some of the seasonality because that means that the freshness is going to be there, the high quality of U.S. produce is going to be there because people keep continually telling me, if you buy a grape in January, it's not going to be grown in California, or very unlikely going to be grown in California, and there is going to be not have that same quality that we have here.
And not the same taste.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So if I'm looking at a box at the store that says grapes from Mexico, grapes from California or the U.S., which one do I pick?
I hope that you should be able to answer that one, John. California grown grapes.
Say it. I want
California
you to say
grown.
It.
Yeah,
Okay.
look on the boxes, look on the bags.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
When's the best time to buy? What's the season? When during the season?
First off, go to my website, Farm Bureau website, and you can actually pull up a harvest calendar that talks about when things in the valley are being grown.
Strawberries and grapes. The best time to buy them.
Well, I'll be honest. Now we continue
springtime.
We continue to expand that market to where there's still table grapes being harvested today in Fresno County.
Yeah, but don't strawberry? Is it my imagination, or don't strawberries cost more now during the wintertime than they do in the summer?
They cost now, but you could still buy them from local farms that are. I think the rainstorm yesterday probably destroyed them, but for the most part, up until this week, you were still able to buy strawberries. So the biggest thing is shop. Look for the California designation.
Right. What if you can't find it though?
If you can't find it, maybe switch to another produce that's in season.
Okay. All right. Well, good advice. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Ryan Jacobson is our guest today. He is the CEO, of course, of the Fresno County Farm Bureau. He's got a new show. We'll show you another clip of that on the other side of the break. It's called Valley's Gold. It, of course, is airing now on PBS Channel 18, the Valley's PBS station. We're back with Ryan in just a moment.
Remember me?
After practicing law, Raymond Berg fought crime.
You have the right to an attorney.
As a hard-boiled detective on wheels.
Ain't it the truth?
His name is Ironside.
Perhaps you wouldn't mind saying it again.
His name is Ironside.
All right, now you've said it.
Nothing slows him down.
I want to see this one firsthand.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
What are we waiting for?
And back here with Ryan Jacobson, our friend here from the Fresno County Farm Bureau. He's the CEO. What do you do as the CEO, and what does the Farm Bureau have to do? What's the relationship between the Bureau and, say, the farmers?
Well, great question. We are the advocacy organization for farmers and ranchers, and so I'm the Fresno County Farm Bureau. I represent the County of Fresno farmers and ranchers. We're part of the California Farm Bureau, who's a part of the American Farm Bureau. So we have representation at all levels of government, but I am really to be the voice.
Who funds your organization?
We are voluntary dues of farmers and ranchers and supporters of agriculture.
Oh, okay. So is it a 501c3 or no?
We are a 501c5 specifically. There's an agricultural organization that was set up way back then.
A little bit different, yeah. But that's how you guys are funded, and how do you, in your mind, your role is to do what?
My role is, if you were to put it in one sentence, is to promote and protect agriculture for the future.
Yeah, very important.
Yes,
financially,
absolutely.
Of course, here in the state of California,
and
because we feed the majority of the nation. You know what's really interesting, Ryan? You go back. I lived back east for several years, and you go back to the supermarket back there, and you buy fruits and vegetables like you do here. You're paying twice the price. Yep. Maybe in some cases, half the quality. Yeah, and the reason for that? Transportation, right?
Transportation, absolutely. Transportation, and when you talk about feeding the country, I mean, California produces about half of the fruits and vegetable supply for the country. I mean, so significant.
Okay, Valley's Gold, and are you the producer of the show? You help produce it?
We help produce it. It's myself and one staff member from me, and then the Valley PBS has their folks involved, and so we make sure that we're putting out a heck of a quality product.
And your focus on the show is farming issues, right?
That's correct. This was meant to be a spinoff of the Huell Hauser show, California's Gold. So
I was going to ask you about that.
So, and very unfortunate, I think most people know that Mr. Hauser passed away in January. And so, but we wanted to continue that legacy, telling the stories and what can you tell about the Valley that most people don't understand, and that's agriculture. And so
all
this
right,
was
let's, before we run out of time, one more clip here from Ryan Jacobson. It's called Valley's Gold on PBS.
no better way to start this day than with the university's top dog, Dr. Joseph Castro. President, how you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
Fantastic. Well, that's one thing I didn't expect to come across today was some Bulldog iced tea.
So from the start to the slicing to the freezing, we're 18 minutes, 20 minutes at most. It takes that fruit to finish.
That's absolutely incredible.
A little bit of a renaissance starting to occur on the fig industry. I think you'll see our acreage start to slowly increase over the next 4 or 5 years or so.
I've definitely noticed that. There's been a lot of excitement about figs. Probably the last decade we've seen a lot of that.
Does it take some getting used to being in front of the camera?
Absolutely.
Or hosting?
for this is 26 minutes and you're good, no commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I was kind of mastering the 30-second soundbite. This is a whole different animal.
Yeah, well, you have to control the environment of the whole show.
Yep.
You got to control the tempo and everything. You're the host.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So who came up with the name?
It was actually Paula from Valley PBS. She came up with it.
So is there a possibility this thing could go statewide, this program? And could you replace Huell Hauser? Are you like a likely replacement for Huell?
I don't know if I'm a likely replacement. Would I love to see this statewide? Absolutely. And my biggest thing is there was a question about, how do we get this message into the schools? And this is part of it. I think this is part of the example of what we can do to help educate kids and parents about the
I was going to ask you because one of our crew members here had a question about your partnership with schools. Do you have a partnership with Fresno Unified or Central Unified or?
We actually all Fresno County schools. We actually host an annual Farm Nutrition Day for third graders at the Fresno Fairgrounds to expose them to agriculture. Just let them know about the career opportunities, the taste. John, I'm amazed. We are the center of the raisin universe, and you can't believe how many of these kids have never tasted a raisin before.
What do you think about the school lunch programs?
School lunch programs obviously
need improvement, right?
They need improvement, but then
in terms of nutrition, I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But I'm thankful for people like Bill Smitkamp specifically here with Wana. He's trying to develop healthy products that go into the school lunch program. It's just part of the battle is making sure we get those products into the schools.
I mean, you have kids, right?
Absolutely. I got one.
Yep. You want your kid eating some of that stuff that you've seen in some of those cafeterias? It's just.
Yeah.
Hey, we got another. Do we have time to take one more call? One more call, quick. Okay. Good morning. You're on Connect with me. It's got to be quick though. Hurry.
Connect number or email address, please.
Okay, we'll put it up on the screen for you. It's up there right now. Thank you for the call. Anyway, as far as the Fresno County Farm Bureau is concerned, what can you do? What you're not doing now, as far as schools are concerned. Would you like to do more? And if so, what?
It's everything from just getting out there, physically taking farmers and ranchers to speak to the kids, myself getting in front of kids, because so many of them.
School visits?
Yeah, we do school visits. We are limited on how many we're able to do, but we always get contacted on that. And most importantly, like I said, gosh, if you got third graders, make sure they get to our program. It's a phenomenal program, awesome program. They would love it.
Yeah, and your program is on your website, right?
Everything's
Valley's Gold. How
on.
many episodes have you done so far?
I believe we're on 10 now. So I think we had our 10th last night.
Right. Okay. Ryan Jacobson, we're out of time. I wish we had an hour to talk about this, but you come from a family of farmers. You're a grape grower yourself, right?
I'm a grape grower myself. 4th generation on both sides. Both sides come over in the early 1900s.
What part of the valley?
We are right south of Fresno, the eastern area.
Yeah, amazing. Gosh, I'm just amazed at what you've been able to do at such a young age. 33 years old, continued success, and come back as a guest.
I will do that.
You are welcome here anytime.
Absolutely. Thanks, John.
Great guest. Ryan Jacobson, the CEO of the Fresno County Farm Bureau. We're glad to have him along. He's going to be a regular here from now on. I can guarantee it. Hey, our special program on JFK, the assassination 50 years later, coming up tomorrow, and connect with me on MeTV Fresno. Back again. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one.
All right, from the beginning. My name's Friday. I carry a badge.
Now on Xfinity 187. Do you like me?
Just like me.
Like MeTV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.